Hello, hello. Hi, David. Hi, Luke. Hi, Mark. Hi, Wahome. I hope you're all doing well. Let me enable chat for everyone. There you go. You should be able to chat.
Hi, everyone.
And all right. Boom. I can see Luke is preparing his questions in advance. It's copy paste.
Both.
All right, nice. So David has a question about dates. Let's have you hop on, David. Participants. Hi, Mauro. Where's David? David is here. Promote to panelist. Here we go.
Hello.
Hey,
I hope
David.
all well. Let me try to share my screen this time, not to mess it up. Good. Think starts pretty okay. So basically, what I want to do here is, so you have those progress bars here, which are linked to an objective, right? And I would like this 30% here to change depending on the date. So I'm not sure whether I have the right date thingy here, but all the data is within that table on Xano. So for example, this one, let's say it takes 2027 ideally, or May 24, 2027, then the progression would be 45, 0.45. So what I've tried so far.
Okay, so you do have a progression data. Okay. Going to
My
be
computer is not. Oh shit. It's a bit frozen. Give me a second. No, it's because I'm an idiot. And so here I have get key
Okay.
value, lookup for the OD here into the chart here data, the table with mission name. So I get the progression, but I just don't know how to filter with the value in the date element, if that makes sense. I hope I didn't lose you.
Yeah. Let's try to understand this. So in here, you're looking for, can you show me the collection? Yeah, perfect data. So basically you'd like to find in here
So let's say I have year 2026 here, 2027, then I suppose it would go into row 2 or row 1 and display 0.45 here instead of 30 on the first progress bar. I just don't know if I need to have another get filter value into the get key value, but I just don't know how to write it. Maybe it's just a syntax issue.
no, you're not there. So get key value lookup. Okay, can you just show me the lookup? Could you remove the get key value?
Okay.
Okay, and you need to remove the end, yes.
This one, right?
Yeah, you yes, exactly. You can keep the again progression too.
Sorry?
And progression too. You need to remove everything in the end, yes, in here. And you can remove also the multiply by okay. So I could see the object. Okay, perfect. So in here you have the objects. So you filter with okay. And what I don't understand is the relation with the dates. So you have in here progression, right? And what do you need to do with the date? Could you say that again?
Let's say here if I select year 2027, right? Like 19 of Feb, I would like that the number here becomes the 0.45 in the lookup, which would be a ID, sorry, which would be a value number 2 here.
Why are you filtering first with mission name and I guess it's Audi cards here data is what I don't understand. So first you are looking for mission name equal to cards here data, right?
Yes, so because there are many per users and I want the right value per user. So I first want to search for the mission name and then for the value for a given date.
But in here, for example, if you select 2027, you would have nothing, right?
Yes, because I haven't started with I don't want to write that.
Okay, so you want to make sure to filter to mission name equal to chart year data and full year equal to the year of the date you selected, right?
Yes, that would be the objective.
Okay, great. Got it. Give me 1 second. And because lookup, you can have only one. So you need to use the filter formula. So could you go to the list of formulas, go to array, and in here, I think we have something like filter, if I'm right.
Filter by key.
Filter by key. And in here, so yes, and it should return, I think, an array. Because lookup is going to, okay, return a new array. Okay, perfect. So we are going to do 2 filter by key, okay?
Okay.
So instead of lookup, use filter by key. You can open the parentheses and it's going to be recognized.
Okay.
Just after, yeah, in here, open, yeah. And now you can remove. Yeah, that's the trick. Okay, so filter by key, and first, could you display the documentation but while hovering the, yeah, perfect. So first the array, then the key, and then the value. Okay, so so first item.data.mission name, I think it's not your array. So first you need to add your collection. So could you select your collection? Yes, this is the one. Okay, perfect. So then it's the key, mission name, and after that it's the, yeah, after mission name, I think. No, I think
Okay.
it's key and then value. No, if I'm right. Could
So
you, yeah,
like
mission
this?
name like this, and after that the value.
So it would be the filter, right?
It's no. Yeah, the one you had just before, the charts, the I don't remember.
The
Yes,
current
this one.
item.
This one?
Okay, yeah. So in here, could you open like 2 of them? And we have mission. Okay, so you see in here, you've got all the mission name equal to a Audi, right?
Yes.
So you have an array with this first filter. And now we are going to filter also this array. Okay.
Okay.
So let's wrap all of this into a filter by a new filter by key. So at the beginning, type in filter by key again. So that, and after all of this, at the end, comma. So this is the date, so the key. I don't remember the. So before the value, it's the key. So I think it's date or something like this, but I don't remember. In
This
your
one?
collection, so this is the value, right? But before that, you need to type in the key between quotes. So the date. So
Sorry, I
no,
don't understand. My bad.
it's the key where you have the date in your collection.
Uh, um, yes. So I think it's
So-
full date, full year, right?
Full year. Okay, perfect. So
This?
you can,
Okay.
after that, full year.
Uh-huh.
Okay, comma. And then we are going to use a date formula to just get the year.
Okay.
Did you display formula? But all the formulas, dates, perfect, and you have something like get year.
Get here. It's
Get
here.
year,
Yes.
perfect. So now select your date from your input.
Ça, ouais.
Okay, and you
Yes,
need to
sorry.
close the with the parentheses. Okay, here we are. We've got the object, and now you can type in at the end dot progression.
Within brackets.
No, you can type no without quotes. You can do it like this because it's an object. Or you could, oh, it's not this. Did you remove it so we could see it again?
It's because it needs to be dot zero. No, it's
Ah, yes, you're right, because it's an array. So it's bracket 0.
yeah, bracket 0 dot progression.
Oops. Sorry.
So before the point, bracket 0, yeah, you need to remove the first point
Uh-huh.
and then point progression. But dot progression, sorry. Here you are.
Ah.
And you can multiply that by 100 and I think you're done.
Ouais. Thank you so much. Really, thanks a lot. Help me again. Thank you
Yeah,
very
cool.
much. Wish you a
You're
good
welcome.
evening. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Talk to you
Cheers.
soon. Bye. All right, so let's see. We'll take Luke, if it's okay with you, we'd take one of your questions, then we'll go to one of Mark's questions and Wahome and Will's, and then we'll circle back to your second question. Just so everybody gets a chance to get at least one question answered. So,
Hey,
Hi, Luke.
hey, Luke.
John. Let me share screen. So what I'm trying to do is I have a collection of these lessons. It's click on it real quick. I put like this is a support ticket too, so if I able to figure this out, definitely can try to figure it out after if there's anyone else that's looked at this before. But essentially it's just a list of different lessons. And what I want to do is on click, go to a certain page. What that entail, like I have on this Flexbox, I was trying to get it so like it's pulling whatever thing I click on and then just grabbing its ID and then listening, like going to that page. I even try to do like,
Oh no,
no?
you shouldn't do it like this. So in here, you do need to select the page and then you should have, so on the page you are going to go, ID is in the URL, right? It's in the query, it's a parameter in the URL.
I was looking at the ID for here. Does that make sense?
Ah, okay.
Because what it's grabbing is like the title, which is a part of this collection, which is named to like the same name as what it is on the page. So it should be able to like, what I'd hope it would do is just go through that, that
Okay,
collection
got
of
it.
pages.
Got it. Could you show us the link again where you bound? Okay. Let's give me a second. I need to try to remember to all the values you can bind here.
You guys have such nice backgrounds this time. I like it.
If I let me unblur myself.
Oh, it's cute. Is that the office or is that?
No, we're in a couple of times a year we rent a big place for a week and stay together.
Offsite. I love it.
I don't remember. I'm sorry, Luke. I need to check out. I think you cannot bind to the ID like this. I think it's more something like slash something. Use the URL instead, but I'm not sure. I need to check out. I'm sorry, I don't remember.
Well,
Okay.
since you created a topic in the community, we'll just make a note to follow up on there. And maybe we can go to your second question right away then. So
Yeah, I'll be super quick. So essentially, like if I were to click on one of these lessons, it's a lesson for like we do DIY electric skateboards. They're relatively like very similar formatted lessons. This like I do a lot on the back end, so it comes in pretty easily. What I like need to keep doing though is like I duplicate a page, I have to go in, and I have to like switch over to like the specific collection. So like I have all the lessons here. That takes like, especially with the amount of things I'm doing, it takes a long time. Like I'm wondering if there's any way that I can try to optimize this where like can I do like find and replace? I don't see like how that could be possible on the front end. But that would save me like hours of work possibly. So I don't know if there's any other way I could try to optimize this if you guys have any ideas. Like especially like when I'm another example too, like when I'm like creating like a certain, this is obviously like a grid list, or a better example of I keep going down or like they're answering a question and then kind of like a notes, maybe not on this one. Um, yeah, like right here, like if I post a note or whatever, like I need to, this is a pretty big, variable or element. Like there's a lot of divs and variables and workflows and stuff like that. It would save so much time if I could just like copy in something where it's like all I need to do is just like put in a variable of some sort, or just change like one thing and I can change everything. I don't know if that's even a possibility.
Um, yes, I'm not sure I get exactly what you want to do. So could you have a concrete example? So something you would like to change and that you would just have to change once.
yeah,
Yeah, so
Karen is wondering if it maybe might be a component.
Yeah, sure. I think this is the answer, but yeah, I let you the floor, Luke, just to give us a concrete example from something you'd like to change once.
yeah, I guess it's probably like two different things. Like one, if I could just duplicate a page and find and replace for a collection and just replace all the collections with the new one. And the second one is like, for example, for this specific notes, if I just copy pasted this in, but it would create all of the different things that are needed. Like for this, it's binded to a grid list, and then I need to go into the grid list and change the pop-up of it and things of that sort. So sorry, it's kind of freezing on me right now. Like I have to create a new array that's carbon notes. If I were to create like a different variable that's for the new one, like there's a bunch of carbon notes that I have. I'm kind of rambling on. It's hard for me to try to describe exactly what I need.
Okay, so you definitely need to structure your data differently.
Okay.
In here, but I'm not sure I got the find and replace that you want to do, but for this one, for example, what you could do is to create a kind of a master variable with all the data, and when you add something like an array, for example, and in here you would have in this array 3 objects, one for each part, and then you can bind your first column to that array, and when you add something to that variable, it will create something in here. So basically, the idea is everything that can be dynamic should be in a variable in an array. Okay, so if one day you need to add something, you just have to add it to this array. Does that make sense for you?
Not really.
Not really. Okay. And the other way is to create a component with some props and then you use that component and you bind the props.
Mhm.
And this is maybe the best approach in terms of maintainability.
Okay.
So you
And
may need to
Flore is-
learn. Yeah, sorry, Joyce.
No, go ahead.
You may need to learn to play with components a bit. At first, it's hard because it's a technical thing. But as you need to scale your work and you don't want to repeat yourself, when you don't want to repeat yourself, components.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I did get a component to work with something else. I'm
think
just
if
trying
you-
to think how it could apply to this where I'm just
I think
updating one.
if you
Sorry.
look at our example in the user docs of the button component with props that change the style, but also the text, the content of the button, maybe that might be a start. Like Flo, I didn't understand 100% your use case, so I'm not sure. It's that Prolay also is suggesting maybe you can create a variable that holds the current collection and then on each page just assign it on load. Since we're not 100% clear about how you would be using it, I don't know, maybe perhaps you can try these three approaches.
First, what you can do is to really split what you want to do, because right now I think you have many things in mind for the on this page. So you can split it and just start simple, and you can ask in the community some advice to decide how you could build this component with some props, and we could help you to do that. But right now it's a bit hard to help you because you have many ideas, and it's hard for us to help you on one of them in here because we need the big picture.
Yeah, I think actually the idea of assigning the collection to a variable and then having the variable replace on load, that might be something I should look at. So, all
Yeah,
right, thank you.
but you can also do this on the component. You can also like bind a collection to a component. So try to explore these this different options and let us know if there's one that seems better than the other.
Okay, great. Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, I definitely would like if possible with the like the thing I posted on community, I'll put in the chat. I was looking at try to solve it as soon as possible. This other stuff definitely can wait.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, talk to you soon.
You
And let's have Mark jump on. And I mean, like you said, Flo, I think it's important to keep in mind that components can be a little bit scary at first.
Yes.
Like I know, like coming from Webflow for a long time, I was pushing for CSS classes, and when Flo was talking about components, I was like, I don't care, leave me alone, give me my CSS classes. And now I'm like, I don't care about CSS classes, give me components, even though I still have a very basic use of them, but they're worth the trouble. Hey, Mark.
Hey, how are you guys?
Hi, Mark.
Looks like you're suffering in that location there. So
Horrible.
I've got 2 weeks and I'll be working from the south of France for a month. So I'm counting the seconds. So it's kind of one question. I have a fantasy solution that I'm not convinced you're gonna provide. And if that's not realistic, I'm curious how you would approach this. And maybe that you already have a solution and I'm just not aware of it. So sort of my dream scenario is, could we ever get filters that were bindable? And by bindable, I mean, you give us some type of expected syntax, right? Then we could make a variable object, right? And then we could build whatever front end UI we wanted for a user to create whatever filter they want. And as long as we then wrote that object in that syntax and bound it to a filter, I think that would be super powerful. I would love to have that. So
Okay.
I guess the first question is, can you do that? And then if not, I'll explain the biggest use case I have. It's not a blocker, it's coming on my roadmap soon.
Okay.
And
Okay.
we have to do it one way or the other. So you want to start with that, or you want me to hear my exact example of what we're doing with that?
So first, I'd like to know if you have a backend that you can manage on your own.
So the the project that we're building is WeWeb on the front end
Mhm.
with Vue custom components. We have we have 2 full-time WeWeb developers now.
Okay.
One of them is a total Vue ninja from hell. So we can do anything custom we want. And
Okay.
then we have a full-time Xano backend, and then we're going to be doing
Okay.
Neo4j with Xano. So,
Okay.
so it's a big project.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So you're
what-
going to like my answer.
okay.
The answer is yes.
Okay. Okay, great. Well, that because there are workarounds, but they're all ridiculous. And if a filter could be bindable, I think. And also, I was just thinking from a perspective of, and just to be clear, I'm not a developer. I'm not building the application. I'm the founder guy. I have 2 co-founders, and I'm older than I look, and I've done many companies and businesses and things. But I fell in love at my last startup was hard code. So I've fallen in love with no code. And I
Okay.
learn aggressively as I can Xano and WeWeb because I want to just build test harnesses and I don't want to build the application. There are people or more that's all they do. But I'm all the questions I'm asking on the forums is to kind of learn, where does this break or how far can I go with this? Right. So that's who I am basically, is I'm just, yeah.
That's really great. So to give you some directions, so first, the easiest way is to create a Xano collection. And in that Xano collection, you have a step that is called query configuration.
Okay.
No, not in Xano, sorry, it's in Supabase, the query configuration, but it's quite the same for Xano. So if you have you need an endpoint with an input, and that input would be your object. Okay.
Okay.
So your filter object. Then in that Xano endpoint, you would return data depending on that input. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but that's not okay. So maybe there's a little bit of a disconnect in terms of how I'm thinking about this. But so one of my primary use cases is that it is related to email, right? So part of the application, it's not even what the application is, but a part of the application is an email client that's designed for people with many email addresses who are like power users. It's like we are essentially building multiple products, but in the email client that we're building, right, which is again designed for people with many different email addresses, we're pulling a tremendous amount of data into the client, right? So what I want to do is on the client side, be able to refilter it without ever calling Xano again, because I've got the data in the client. So that's what I'm looking for.
Okay. So this is funny because I discussed that with one of our developers just this morning. Oh no, yesterday evening. And we want to add a new action to apply again the filters, the front-end filters to a collection without refactoring it.
Okay. All right. So I would still.
So this is an action that we could make soon, but before that, you can do it. You can do it on your own, and this is not that hard. So instead of adding the filters at the end of your collection, so you see the last step of your collection is front-end filters. But instead of this, when you bind your collection in the formula, just below the formula field, you have filters. I don't know if you have ever played with that.
I have not. I know where it is. But
okay, so you click filters in here, and in here you're gonna have multiple choices to filter on the values from the keys. And in here you've got bindable inputs.
Okay,
so I can
bind those to variables, and then in my UI.
Exactly.
Okay,
and it's reactive. So when the value changes, you will have the new array filtered.
But is it calling Xano again?
No, not in here. In here, it's going to be front-end only.
Okay. Well, that I did not understand at all. Okay, so it's really already there, what I want to do. Because basically what you're saying is Xano, let's say I'm manually calling a collection. There's no auto refresh, right? So I'm doing it through a webhook or whatever. I pull in the data.
Yep.
whatever filter I have there, it filters it. And you're saying now if I change those variables, it'll automatically change.
Yes. Yes, it's a really old front-end filters, but be careful with this, huh? Because at what moments the amount of data could be an issue. Okay.
But that's music to my ears. Because I was just thinking in my head, I'm like, WeWeb's whole thing is front-end client editor. They need to have the most power in the front end for filtering. And I mean, that's the magic, right? I mean, all we're doing is strategically displaying data, right? And you know, so anyway, I'm super happy. I won't take up any. And if you have 1 second for the second question was, I was just curious if you had a guesstimate on your best guess.
table.
Yeah, only because right now, you know, we're planning to build a custom one, but I don't. What you're doing might be enough, and I could skip that. I'm just kind of curious to find out, like when you'll release it and what the scope of it is.
So I didn't.
The new table.
The new table. Oh, okay. So so let's discuss this. So this is really one of our priority to release this new element. So you could do a lot of things. We started the integration, but to really do everything we want to do with this table, we need first to remove the wrappers. So you may notice that when you drag and drop, for example, a button, you have a div, a wrapper for this. So this is for legacy reasons we had to do it before, but right now it's but we struggle with that, and especially with this table, we cannot do properly the table because of this wrapper.
Yeah.
So what we want to do first is to remove those wrappers. So the nice thing with this is once we have done it, you're going to have 40% less of elements in your application. So it's going to load faster. So do that. So we are going to remove this wrapper. We are working currently on this. And I don't entirely know how long it will take to do that because we need to make sure that we won't break your applications when we do that. But the nice thing is that first we are going to do to be able to do the table. After that, we are going to be able to standardize the applications, like having real CSS classes applied to that. Sometimes you have inline CSS because of those wrappers. So we are going to be able to have a more standard approach and a more standard build with those applications. So to give you an ETA, I hope that we are going to be able to release this table in July, but I'm not sure right now. So I cannot
I mean,
give you
we won't get to it until late August at best. So at least
Okay.
that's enough for. And again, removing the wrappers is, yeah, you've got a couple people that always like to point that out on the forum. So I get
Yes.
it. I get it.
Yes.
You'll
We
make
are
him.
going to remove all of them.
You're going to make him very happy. You know who I'm talking about. All right. I'm super happy. I'll let you guys go. Really appreciate the time. Cheers.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank
Talk
you,
to
Mark.
soon.
Cheers.
And see you in
Bye.
the community. And let me invite Home on. Promote to panelists, and maybe we can just quickly, I think Mauro doesn't, correct me if I'm wrong, Mauro, but I think you just want us to talk about it and you don't want to share your screen. So maybe we can take Mauro's question just quickly about talking a little bit about the PWA plugin and also why it's not possible to remove it once installed.
Hello, guys.
Hey, Wahome.
Hey,
Hi.
Wahome.
Well,
Hi.
you're very quick, so we'll take your question first. We'll move on. We'll move back to Mauro's question after.
So I have this question. And maybe I don't know if it's more of a question and a suggestion or something, but so on this application, most of the time I'm not the one who's doing the front end. So when I really have to come to the front end is when I have to edit or adjust something. And at the moment, we are having this issue where, like, already at the moment it's working. So when I click on the tab, you can see like the state changes, right? When I leave it, it also changes. So like highlighting the active tab. So the way I'm doing this is a little bit hectic, and it means that every time that somebody wants to duplicate this, they would have to change several things. And how I'm doing it at the moment is I'm coming to this particular individual tab, and I'm adding like an index to a local variable called clicked tab ID. So I'm basically just adding a number, maybe number 0, then go 1, 2, 3, like that. Then at the same time, I'm adding states for this. and then I'm attaching that condition to this particular state. So something I noticed is that this current tab kind of gets updated very late when you're switching. So for example, if I click on this tab here, like this is the first tab, you can already add an action here because the update happens very late. So that's why I'm resulting to manually adding the value myself. That's why I'm resulting to this because I cannot use this because they get updated very late. Now, so that seems to be the process of how I have to keep doing it. Another thing I noticed is that when I switch to default, maybe I want to change the state from default here. If I change this, or maybe make it primary, then if I changed this clicked state before I went to the default, this comes back to the default. So you kind of have to do double work there. So if I switch this to text, then come back here and switch this to primary, then whatever I select here changes on the other state. So if you don't know what's going on, or if you don't think of coming back here, you are going to suffer. So I don't know if there's a way that we can update this without having to add variables, because I'm coming from Flutterflow actually. And what you used to do is you just directly change the border color of whatever that you want, maybe dynamically or something, because that's the first idea I had. So maybe, let me go to that. Yeah, so like here, for example, I'll just come here, maybe add like the way we attach this here. So maybe come here, do some value that if this is clicked, change the border color to something, like instead of having to keep doing this with the variables all over. So I don't know, is there a way that we can do that? Or I just have to stick to what I'm doing right now?
Okay, so what you are saying is that you cannot change the color when you click, right? When you are in the click state.
I think there are a few
Okay.
things. So I think for me, the first thing we need to see is how you built those tabs. If you can
Yeah.
go to editor and layout, show us what these elements are. If it's bound to a collection or if,
No, it's not about any
okay,
correction.
so it's tabs. So my first thought looking at this is you probably don't want to use the tabs element.
Okay.
Like I don't know if you would agree, Flo, but personally how I would do it is I would have a div with the text inside of that. So I would, sorry,
Okay.
I would have a collection list. Inside that collection list, I would have one div with one text. And the collection list, I would bind to a variable that contains all these tags. Just this information. It could be objects with an ID and the text. And that way, instead of having to update like, I don't know, 20 variables, I would just use the ID of the current tab that it's selected. So, you know, you would have a collection list, the collection list item, and that would, you would know which item is clicked like this. I'm pretty sure we have a tutorial on how to do this. So I think I'll look for I think the easiest way would be to share that video tutorial with you if that's okay. But the short answer is it's completely possible to do it in a much easier way that will be much easier to maintain for you and much closer to what you're used to with Flutterflow. I don't know Flutterflow well, but from what you described, it seems like similar logic. I don't know if that makes sense to you as well, Flo.
All right. So
Yeah.
that will mean that I'll have to also attach the API calls to that particular.
Yeah, but it
Okay,
will be
that's
so easy. It would be so easy because it's one API call and you have the ID in the API call. I'm guessing exactly what you're doing right now, except that instead of updating a variable with 0, 1, you just have one
You would
variable.
do it only once. Yeah.
You would do it only once, yeah.
but the conundrum I'm having is that every time I click on this one, it's making a different API call. If I go to accounting,
of course.
it's making a different API call.
Of course, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No
right.
problem. If you
Yeah, so
if you wanna maybe, if you'd like, if it's we can do two things. Either I can just send you a video tutorial with a logic and then you try to figure it on your own, or if you prefer, you can
Okay.
create a topic in the community. But if you do that, if you can share a few screenshots with me, just to show me like the API call that you make that is different, like I'm guessing it's an ID that's different. That way I can help you, I can give you like more hands-on support, like specific to your use case.
All right. So because there are different API calls, it's not really one. It's not really controlled by a specific ID. So maybe I can
Okay.
start with the video.
Okay.
Then if it fails, I'll just leave it for the community
Cool.
or some.
So I'll find the video while Flow answers Will, and then if that's not enough, just create a topic in the community, showing us a little bit how your backend is, what the API, what the different API calls would be. But I'm sure we
Yeah.
can do it in a much more straightforward way for you.
Cool. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Awesome. Talk to you soon.
Bye, Will.
All right, so let's have Will on. There we go.
Hello.
Hi, Will.
Hey,
Hey,
Will.
so run into some issues around authentication using a third-party service called Propel Auth, and using it through the npm package is how we're pulling it in to work with it. And just having an issue where after users logged in for, let's say, 20, 30 minutes, if they refresh that page, they're redirected to a page that includes and source equals in it. I included in the question. And just curious, I'm doing this through a custom like trigger workflow in WeWeb. I can share my screen and show it. And just curious from a debugging perspective, it can be hard to debug off problems in WeWeb for me because you push it production and you can break a lot of stuff. I've done that 3 or 4 times now and just wanted to check with you all before exploring some more options for fixes.
So basically, you have this. I can start. Okay, I can let you for us, but
Yeah, so we currently pull it in. I think you can see this now. We pull it in through an on-app load that covers any page whenever it's loaded. We check to see, is the user authenticated already? And then we have a custom JavaScript code here, which is essentially just straight from the sign up from like the Propel Auth documentation for their JS. And then here, the only real changes we made to this were just WeWeb specific to include individual like components for WeWeb variables and stuff. And it all works great other than just if a person's on the same page for 10 minutes, I think it's 20 minutes, then the hard refresh, they get sent to the wrong URL. If they remove that and source and then click it again, they're good. Anyway, just curious if you all had any debugging suggestions. I realize you don't work with Propel Auth all the time or probably at all. But just curious if you had any suggestions on places to start.
yeah. So I guess it happens when they are on a private page, right?
Yes, only on private pages where the authentication's enabled. Yes.
Okay. So basically, you have this redirection when the token is not valid anymore. So, did you use also? Do you have a NOS plugin also or something like this? Because
What
this
plugin?
is. Could you click the plugins panel? I just need to check out something. And in here, you use token-based auth, right? You are using that one.
Yes. So if we look at the auth, for the plugin we use the token-based auth
Okay.
for the authentication. Yep.
Okay, so in that plugin, you specify the get me endpoint, right?
Yeah.
To get
Yes.
the user profile. Okay, so this is the request that is done anytime you refresh a private page. Okay, and if we get an error when trying to do that request, then we redirect to the login page, the page you specify when users are not logged in. And we add this query in the URL, so you could propose your users to log in again and go directly to the page he was on. So this is why we have this.
Okay.
So my question is, do you know how long your token is valid?
And the error happens after, I think, approximately 20 minutes. It's when I timed it before. When you do the hard refresh, it's about 20 minutes.
Okay, because I think you won't have any choice. I mean, you are going all. So what would you like? You would like the user to stay on the page, or
Well, so let's say that they navigate away to a different tab. The tab sits still for 20 minutes, and then they come back to it and take some type of action and load on the page. It automatically includes that and source in the URL, which then essentially puts them back to our homepage as an error URL. For example, in this situation, it looks like this. If you can see my screen, so they automatically get reset back out to the Frisker homepage, and then this
Mhm.
portion's included. I would prefer for them to just be able to go, back to the page that they had just refreshed on, which would be this URL instead. And I just don't know how to debug this or what's the best way of handling to make sure that they stay on that same page. Because, for example, if I click on this now, it will go directly here after having been loaded in this situation. But but earlier when I loaded this when we started the call, it sat for 30 minutes. I reloaded it, and then it included that source. If you remove the source, it comes back because it recognizes the token correctly.
Yeah, can you? Yeah, I need to see this workflow. So in here, what you're doing is the JavaScript to get the token. Then you store the token, the user. So in any case, if you don't have any redirection and you stays on the page, all your requests won't work because you don't have a valid token anymore.
Gotcha.
So you
I guess
may need to explore the refresh token thing. I think this is an approach, or the only way to do it without this is to make the page public and not private, and
which I
manage
don't.
okay,
Yeah.
and manage the redirection on your own on upload. And then you won't
Gotcha.
have this redirection, and all the users would stay on the page, and you would
Gotcha.
manage that manually.
Gotcha. So basically, I need to explore extending the token length. Basically, is what you're telling me. Like that's probably the best way to handle this.
Yeah, I mean, both approach are okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
as you are something quite custom in here, it's not a big
Yeah.
deal to make it a public page.
Okay.
So you could really manage when the users are redirected. As you are using Xano, I see as a backend, it's not a big deal
Yep.
because all your private data would be on private endpoints. So
Okay.
it's not like you would have this. So it's pretty okay in terms of architecture, content architecture. So you could
Okay.
do it if this is an issue. But usually 20 minutes for a token, it's quite low. So you could
Yeah.
also change that
Okay. All right.
to
I'll
24
explore that
hours, for
first.
example.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Any other suggestions on that part? Like, so you basically explore the refresh token is probably the best way to
Yeah,
handle
I
this.
think this is probably the best. Yeah, the refresh
Okay.
token thing. After that, go to public pages and manage this yourself
Okay.
if you don't want the
Okay.
redirection.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you for your help on
Yes,
that.
one last thing. So maybe one last thing. What you could
Okay.
do, yes, I got an idea. On your
Okay.
login page, your home page, you can, on page load, you can check if you had this query,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
And then
And
remove on page load, remove
exactly. And if
okay.
not only remove, just redirect, just navigate to that, and it could
Okay.
work for you. And then have
Okay.
maybe a refresh token on your own or something like this on this workflow
Okay.
before redirecting the user. But at
Okay.
least the user would have something. It would work.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. No, that makes sense. I'll explore that and the token. That's a great suggestion there. Okay. Oh, one last thing. Sorry, on
No, I'm
the
sorry.
screen.
It's like
Oh, sorry.
we
All
have
right,
10
go ahead.
minutes left
Sorry.
and
Think
like
about.
5
Thank you.
questions.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Will. Talk
Thank
to you
you,
soon.
Will. Have a good day.
So yeah, Maru's question was about like, can you talk a little bit about the PWA plugin? And apparently he's having trouble uninstalling it once So I'm guessing because he's asking why is it not possible to remove once it's installed? I'm guessing that's a bug on our side.
Yes, it is. It is.
So we'll explore that. And maybe just, can you talk a little bit about the PWA plugin and why we did it the way we did?
Okay, so
Bearing in mind, we do have like 4 or 5 questions afterwards, so the idea is not to go deep dive into the product.
so I'm
but
going
just
to be really, really quick. So best way to discover what the PWA plugin is to check the workflows when you add this plugin, and then you're gonna have a lot more actions for this. So actions like add to home screen for Android device, geolocalization action, repair action, something to vibrate the phones. You also have a notification, but this one is content only, so the users have to be on the application to see the notification. So this is the first step. Request some motion permissions or stuff like this. So I don't remember all the everything, but this is the kind of actions you're gonna have access to by adding this plugin to your application.
Thanks. And we know that we're late with the user documentation, so it's on our to-do list. But all right, Sofiane, if you forgive me, I'd like to just get Edgar on because he arrived early, but didn't know the Q&A thing yet. So Edgar, if you want to hop on. And there are 2 fairly quick questions. Hey, Edgar.
Can you guys hear me?
Hey, Edgar.
Yeah.
Hello, hello. All right, I'll jump to this quickly, share my screen here. Entire screen. So I'm having trouble with the scatter plot in chart.js. So like I created it, I'm able to display all of the data here. But the problem seems to be, I have a copy. So let me go to the, it seems to be like when I separate out the data set, so I'm trying to break it out by quadrant. So the regular one is here. It doesn't display anything, and I use the exact same formatting for the data set. The main difference is that I just broke it up into 4 different data sets. I'm mapping each row to the X and Y of certain values, the value and the effort in this case. And I'm essentially just making the color different for each quadrant. So like the first set's going to be green, the next one's yellow, orange, and then red. But it doesn't seem to be doing that. When I have like one data set, it seems to be okay. But when I add like sometimes 2 or 3 works, it's very finicky. So it's like it shows up sometimes, it doesn't show up sometimes, and it breaks. So I was wondering if there's any thoughts around this.
I have a couple. Like, does it work consistently on when you try it on the charts playground, on the charts documentation playground directly?
Well, I haven't tried it on the charts playground because my it's binded to the specific data set within that's available here. So when I do play with it, like in the playground, it's completely fine because if I hard code any data, everything works fine.
Okay.
It has something to do with the binding of this data doesn't seem to it's
The
finicky.
second thought I have is that when depending on the width that you have on the chart itself or the flex box that contains your charts, sometimes we have weird behaviors.
Okay, so the width of this chart.
Yeah, of the chart element or of the flex box, of the parent flex box. I can't remember which one, but so maybe Flo will have other ideas as well, but I know that when I work with charts is something that I don't know what we have a little bug with the width. Like I think it helps to have a fixed width. I think it doesn't work well with 100% width. I'm not sure if it's that or I can't remember exactly, but you might want to play around with that. It's something so it's 100% width. You might want to play with that. Like put maybe auto on the chart and 100% width on the flex box. That might help. I don't know if you have other ideas, Flo.
Yes, maybe this, and you said that it worked sometime, right?
Yeah, like so if I go back here, it looks fine.
Okay, in here, could you go back to the one that is not displaying?
Yeah.
Just need to take the data. Okay. We go back to the binding. And can you open one of those those objects in the current value just to check out if the data are
Sorry.
correct? Just below you've got the current value.
Uh-huh.
And could you just
Unfold the result.
yeah,
Oh,
the
open.
object.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
here. Just to see if you find this correct.
Yeah, the data is fine. Like it's coming through as XY. It's just not plotting it.
And just for this exercise, could you click the reload button at the top?
This one?
Yeah. And you just refresh your page just to try, like a hard refresh.
Yeah.
It's not
It looks like, hold on, I might have to log in again.
Oh, is that your second question about the items
Yeah, like,
rendering? Yeah.
yeah, my second question is around that.
And could you refresh that page here?
Refresh this, okay. Oh, my data keeps disappearing. I gotta look at that.
It's weird, indeed.
Okay, I could take a look at that. Thank you for that. I'll post another question if I keep running into issues. But
Yeah.
okay, so I'll
You
look
can,
at the width.
yeah.
Okay.
And don't hesitate to create a ticket if needed, because this is a behavior that is quite weird. So we could take a
Yeah,
look.
and then
We need to take a look.
yeah. Okay, sounds good. And then my second question is let me just log in again. Is around like I do have a lot of data, but it's not like an insane amount of data. Certain frameworks that I'm setting up here, once I get to like 20 rows, 20 plus rows, and it's like 10 fields per each row, it's insanely slow. Like it's like 24 seconds, I would say, to just load the page itself. I'm
Yep.
wondering if there are any recommendations on how to
Yes.
speed this up. It's not the data pooling, so I've tested that out. It's the rendering of the data that seems to just be crazy slow.
Yeah. So the first thing you really need to do with those rows is to have fixed height.
Oh, okay.
And all of them, fixed height everywhere. So
Okay.
you will definitely see a change, because your browser
so
is
fixed
trying to always calculate the auto height everywhere, and especially if you have some sub items inside. So add fixed height, sorry. This is really important. So fixed
Okay.
height first, and then I guess it's going to be enough regarding your table. You will
Yeah.
definitely see the difference. And after
Okay.
that, pagination and or infinite load, so you could display less things, but fixed height would definitely work for you.
Okay, that sounds good. So pagination, I understand that. I just thought I could at least get to like 50 items before.
Yes, you can. No, for sure. Just
Okay.
you can add fixed height to everything in here, and you would see the difference for sure.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Talk to you soon. And last but not least, let's have Sofian jump on board. And while I'm adding Sofian, promoting as a panelist, Maro is asking if we already have a scheduled date for updating the Xano plugin to integrate real time. The answer is no, not yet, but the team is already working on it, yes.
Coming. Hi, Sofiane.
Hello, everyone.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. How are you?
Very good.
Doing good.
Cool, cool. You seem very, very fresh and happy. It's nice. Today I have a question. Basically, I have one urgent, one not very urgent, but I will start with the not very urgent and the urgent.
Can you start
I
with
will...
the urgent? Because we actually
Okay.
we're past time, so If you can
For
ask the
sure.
non-urgent in the community, that would be awesome.
For sure. Okay. So when do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, super. So on the Villa page, what I do to enforce our marketing effort is that I send what we call a data layer to Google Tag Manager in order to track events and track things like advertising and things like that. So what I do usually when I do something like that is that I plug it here, which is something that looks like that. It's just an object that I send with all of the things that the marketing needs to get and to build their data set. And so when I do it from, let's say, take something like that. Sorry, I'll do it. No, sorry. No. I'll just give an example of, sorry.
Just before you go on, have you seen that we have a GTM plugin?
No? No, I didn't see that.
I guess it could help you to do that. You go to extension and here, yeah.
So with that, I can fire the data layer directly?
Yes.
Okay. So it will certainly resolve my bug in many ways.
Maybe tell us at least.
Okay, I will try it and I'll go back to you if any problems occur, but thank you. I didn't notice that at all. Sorry.
I just no worries. Just share the docs in the chat. Do you want us to have a quick look at your div question then?
Oh yes. Thank you. So when I'm on this page, the divs, as you can see, looks perfectly fine.
And beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's in the middle.
Okay.
You see here, I have really it's really in the middle, which we really like. But if, for instance, I let's say I log. So I log. Voilà. Here you see, I will go to the vacation rental page, and the div is not in the middle anymore because I have these little things on the right that appears, CMS and logout.
Ah, okay. So you mean the search inputs at the top? Okay.
Exactly.
So you would like it to stay always in the middle. Okay.
I would love that.
Okay. Can you select the flexbox? I guess.
Yes.
Right.
So what I have, I will go there because it's less. Well, I have a flexbox. And I have those three things that appears on this page. So the logo, the search, and the navigation.
Yeah. Did you select the search?
Yes.
Okay. So the container. Perfect. And in here, you may need to go. Yeah. So you see sizing.
Oui.
Yes. Could you select the second one?
The second
sizing
just above
above
sizing property. Yeah.
Sizing property. So above, yeah.
This?
No, right above.
Above.
Sorry. Yeah, I said below, but
okay.
it's above. Sorry.
Okay,
This, I think,
so
yeah, select this one. Select this one.
this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
now could you go back to the page that was an issue?
Okay.
And still like this. Okay. Could you select it again? You may need to
Yes.
center
I
the
think the
component.
component needs to.
Is not in the middle. Yeah.
The component itself.
Oh no,
like
but
this?
it's not
Yes.
in the here. It's not in the same place. You don't have the search.
Oh yes. You don't have
It's
a
not the
pointer.
same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ouais.
It's not the same tab.
It's not a linked section.
It's true. Okay, but this is the thing I have to
Yeah.
play with. Okay.
And in here, but in here it looks centered, so it should be
Ouais.
good. But make sure the component is centered in the pointer. And usually this property may make the tricks.
D'accord. D'accord. Okay. Je vais explorer. I will explore that. I didn't know this
If
property
you
neither.
and if you
Okay.
get stuck, don't hesitate to post in the community. I'll send Luca your way. He's my CSS go-to guy.
Okay. Thank you very
Cool.
much, guy. Thank you.
Very welcome.
Thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Have a great day. Bye bye.
You too.
Bye, Sophia.
Thank
All right, well, I guess that's a wrap. Thank you very much,
Yeah.
everyone, for
Thank
showing
you,
up.
everyone.
If anything wasn't unanswered, don't hesitate to post in the community, of course. And Luke, I made a note of the question about the IDs, so we will follow up as well in the community. Thank you, everyone. And it was
you're
good to see
welcome, Kevin.
Zachary. You hadn't been here for a while, so thanks for coming back. Talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye.